Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari Vidyapit for the students of Standard 10, which we are learning the subject of English. Students, we have started with the revision work, especially grammar part, where lots of students were demanding for a revision for the grammar parts that are going to be asked in the board paper. So we started with the transformation of sentences, in which we learned two of the things, two of the topics. First is transformation of sentences, in which we learned about assertive to exclamation and exclamatory sentence and exclamatory to assertive sentence. The next thing we learned is about assertive sentence to interrogatory sentence. Now, we have learned these two topics in transformation of sentences. From today, we are going to start with new topics of grammar, that is transformation of sentences continued. Today, we'll be doing the third topic, that is assertive to question tag. Now, we have already learned this in the previous year, that is 9th standard. Now, we are already aware with the rules and regulations for that. They are quite similar to the same thing as assertive to interrogative. Yes, with a little bit of difference here and there, right? So, let us learn about assertive to question tag. Sentences that declare same thing is there without any difference. Yes, the same rules apply to assertive to question tag, just as the rules for assertive to interrogative. When we make a question, we can automatically add a question tag, right? So rules remain the same. There are only two rules. Which are they? Use the same if the helping verb is provided. Students, in complete transformation of sentences, the verb plays a very important part, right? We just have to deal with the verbs, whether that is any type of transformation, whether that is making a passive or whether that's making the direct, indirect. The role of a verb in transformation of sentences is very important. So our first thing when we look at a sentence is where the verb is, right? So if the helping verb is provided, then use that same helping verb for the transformation of an assertive to question tag. Vice versa is not asked. From a question tag, we don't have to make the assertive sentence because that sentence is already there. We are adding an extra thing. That means we do not have to disturb the sentence. In question tags, we don't disturb the sentence. We keep the sentence as it is, in whichever form it is, whether it is affirmative, negative, whatever. We keep the sentence as it is. At the end of the sentence, instead of that full stop, we place a comma over there and then add a question tag. So we do not disturb the sentence in any way. We do not make any changes in the given sentence to us. Yes, we do make a change, but at the end of the sentence, by removing the full stop, adding a comma over there, and then adding the question tag. Yes, now what's a tag? Tag is what is added at the end, right? So that is what we now use the same helping verb. Whenever a helping verb is given to you, use that same helping verb to form a question tag. Where helping verb is not given, now there will be only two options. Either the helping verb is given to you or the helping verb is not given to you. So wherever helping verb is not given to you, use the forms of do. Now what are the different forms of do? Yes, do itself, does, and did. Where does is the present tense and did is the past tense. Done is the past participle, right? So we are not going to use that right now. Yes, we are just going to use the three forms of do, that is do, does, and did. Depending upon the tense that is used in the sentence, we make the change. If there is no helping verb, we use any of the type of the do form, right? Now let us go to the next rule. 1 and 2. There are only two rules that are applicable for either interrogative or the question tag. Yes, the third rule is not there. Only two rules. Now, this is just for your information that they are made. Question tags are made for reconfirmation, right? they just reconfirm. That means it becomes a yes no question. Now, the second rule says that if the assertive sentence given to you is positive, that means it has no negative word, then while making the question tag, you have to use the negation. That means if assertive sentence is affirmative, then the question tag form will be negative. Vice versa. If the assertive sentence is negative, that means it has a negation or a negative word, then the question tag that you will make will be positive. That means it will not have any negative word, right? So the second rule says that if the assertive sentence is affirmative, then the question tag form will be negative, and if the assertive sentence is negative, then the question tag that is formed there, you will not use any negation. Now we come to the few of the exercise. Right now it's the same exercise that we did for making interrogative. Now we will look at both the things together. Yes, we will also see interrogative sentence and the question tag, so that you know the difference between how you make the interrogative and how you make a question tag. Yes, both of them are different. Now there is no option for hard work, right? Then is the helping verb given over here, and negation is also there. That means we have to use is, because helping verb is provided to us, and negation is also there, which we have to remove. So what is going to be the answer? Is goes at the starting of the sentence. Whenever we use helping verb at the start of the sentence, that means at the end of the sentence there will be a question mark. There will not be a full stop, right? So is verb, we are changing the format, SVO then VSO, right? So VSO means verb first, then subject, and then the object, right? So I place the verb, helping verb in the front, is, then there is the subject that we are using, then is there. No, we have to remove. But what is the opposite of no? Any. So antonym we are using over here, any option. Sometimes you can use antonym, some places you cannot use antonym, because that depends upon the grammar that is being formed in the sentence. So you have to be a little bit clever over there, where to specifically use an antonym or where not to use, or how to change the word that we have to look. It depends on sentence to sentence. So is there, no becomes any. Is there any option for hard work? Now what is going to be for the question tag? You see over here, there is no option for hard work, there is no option for hard work. We do not make any change in the sentence while we are making a question tag, right? Now in this year's exam, it's going to be quite easy for you, because you have 4 options. Yes, you do not have to supply your own answer. You are given 4 options that will be in the MCQ form. Question will be in the MCQ form, right? Choose the correct question tag, right? So what you have to do is you have to properly read the 4 options and choose the correct one. So this year it becomes quite easy, but then throughout the life we got to make our own sentences, right? So learning this is equally important, whether it will be asked in the exam or not. Whether it is asked in the exam, then we should know which is the proper question tag that is formed out of the 4 options, and we have to select the correct one. So there is no option for hard work. Now what is the difference over here? Full stop has been changed to comma. Now helping verb is given, so I will use helping verb. Negation is there, so I will remove negation. Is comes at the starting, same way, just as the interrogative sentence. In question tag, helping verb will come in the front and followed by the subject. There is no option for hard work, comma is there, and then the question mark. So this is the only change that we are making in the sentence to convert it into, or to transform it into a question tag. We had apples for breakfast. Now we know that the word that we are using, had, that when we are using it for eating purpose, for food, right? When we are eating food, we don't say I'm eating dinner, you say I'm having dinner, right? So have is used instead of eat, right? So we ate apples for breakfast, that is the sentence, but it can be used as have and had, right? Because it is you say it has the action is already complete, right? So we had apples for breakfast. Now had is supposed to be the helping verb over here, but we know, yes, that we changed it to didn't. Now why? Because it is we did have apples. So that is how didn't we have apples, right? Now because we did have apples, did is the, because we see that if it is 8, yes, if it is 8, then what happens is, then you can straight away, that is a verb, you do not have any helping verb with that. Yes, we ate apples for breakfast, then we did eat, right? So did is, because 8 is past tense, right? So we are using the past tense of do form, because actually there is no helping verb over here, right? We are not having any helping verb over here. We do have had, but that is working as ate, but it is not working as a helping verb. So we saw yesterday also, I mean in the previous lecture also, that we did have apples. So didn't we have apples for breakfast? That is the interrogative that we make. Now the same interrogative that we made is in the starting of the sentence, that same thing we have to apply in the question tag. Only thing is it comes at the end of the sentence. We had apples for breakfast, no changes to be made, but the complete sentence has to be written, right? Comma, full stop is to be turned into comma, and the same thing, didn't we, right? Now because there is no negation, we will have to use negation, because there is do form over here, we will use the do form over here, yes. And did is the past tense, because we had, so we ate, so didn't plus did plus negation, we, and then the question mark. This is the question tag that we are making, didn't we. Nowhere will you find such a tasty dish. Yes, so we already saw what is the answer for that. It is interrogative. Nowhere, where will you find, where will is working as not a model, it's working as a helping verb. So where will you find such a tasty dish? Now how to change that into question tag? Nowhere, we know we simply have to write down the question. So first thing is you write down the question as it is, and nowhere, no is already there, negation is to be removed, so will you, yes, will you is over here, yes, we remove where, because here we are using nowhere in the sentence, so we have to exclude where. Then what remains? Will you. That same thing is to be added as question tag. He was a good man. Now we know the answer for interrogative. What was the answer that we did yesterday? Was is helping verb, so we have to use the helping verb as it is, and negation is not there in the sentence, so we have to add negation. Yes, with the helping verb we can combine the helping verb and the negation together and abbreviate it, right? So was not he a good man, wasn't he a good man, that is what we made in the interrogative. The same thing, that means wasn't he is to be going to be added to the sentence. We keep the sentence as it is, he was a good man, comma, wasn't he, yes, because was is there and negation is not there, so we will use was as it is, the helping verb, and we will use negation with it, and first the helping verb, negation, and then the subject with a question mark at the end. This is the wasn't he is the question tag that we form. In many times in the option, the whole of the sentence is not given to save space, alright? So just the question tag is given, yes. So we have to choose from the 4 options that are given to us. All the 4 options will be having question tags, right? Only the question tags, that means wasn't he, didn't he, all those options will be given. Only question of complete sentence along with the question tag will not be given, right? So we have to choose the correct one just to save space in the paper, right? So that way, the next, Men sacrificed their lives for the freedom of this country, right? So we see there is no helping verb. So men did sacrifice. That ed will go to did form, past tense. Yes. So we had the interrogative as didn't men, starting with the helping verb. Helping verb was not there, so we use the form of do. Past tense of do is did. So did. Negation is not there, so did not, or we abbreviate it as didn't. Then we keep the same sentence as it is till at the end, and we put a question mark. The same thing we do for question tags. We keep whole of the sentence as it is. Men sacrifice their lives for the freedom of this country as it is. Instead of full stop, we place a comma, and then we write what we wrote in the interrogative. Didn't they? Yes, men sacrificed. Didn't they? Right? Didn't men nahi aayega, because didn't they, the pronoun is already given, their lives. Shall I ever forget your help? Now the interrogative that we did is I shall never, because shall is working as the helping verb over here. We know shall is modal, but then here it is working as helping verb, because shall I ever forget, the verb comes quite a bit far away, right? But here, shall I ever forget your help, question mark. Now this is an interrogative and we have to turn it into assertive, but here we should also remember that we are making assertive into question tags. So we will have to concentrate on the interrogative that is given to us, or you can concentrate on the assertive. I shall never forget your help. Yes, I shall never forget your help. Now helping verb is there, negation is there, so we will have to use helping verb, remove the negation and the subject, shall I. Can you have success without hard work? Can you have success without hard work? That is the interrogative. Now we did the assertive. What was that? You cannot have success without hard work. Now can is a model, but here it is working as a helping verb, right? So can be a, that is the helping verb, negation is there. That means I have to use that same helping verb over here, remove the negation and add the subject. What is it going to be? You cannot have success without hard work. I keep the sentence as it is, put a comma, can you. Who was late for the class? Now this is interrogative. What was the assertive sentence that we made? No one was late for the class. Now at the starting of the sentence, no is already given. That means we have to remove negation. One is there, right? And we have the helping verb was. That means compulsorily we have to write the helping verb, right? Now what will happen of no one? No one, antonym, anyone, right? So no one was late for the class, comma, we'll put the helping verb was, and antonym of no one, that will be anyone, right? So we cannot have somebody, someone. Yes, we will have to write anyone, because no one antonym will be anyone. Why are you wasting your time? This is interrogative. Now what did we have for the assertive? You should not waste your time. Now should is working as the helping verb over here, and it's a model, but here it's working as a helping verb and negation is there. So when we make the question tag, we should use the same helping verb followed by the subject, because we have to remove not, that is negation. Why should you waste your time? Should you? You should not waste your time, comma, should you. Who can forget his greatness? No one can forget his greatness. That was the assertive that we got. If we take this as a question, then no one we know antonym will be anyone, plus when we make anyone, automatically we remove the negation. Can is working as the helping verb, though it's a model, right? So we are going to use the same thing, that is can as helping verb, and the subject will be anyone. No one can forget his greatness. Can anyone, right? He is smart. Now this is an assertive sentence which we have to turn it into question tag, right? Now we know helping verb is there, negation is not there. That means the same helping verb is to be used followed with negation and followed by the subject. Now subject is his and the verb is helping verb is. So is not he. Isn't he smart? Or he is smart, comma, isn't he? He does odd jobs for a living. Now we already have the do form, does, right? So what is the past tense? He does odd jobs for a living. Doesn't he do odd jobs for a living? Yes. Now does is already given to us, yes, and he is the subject. So how will we change it? He does odd jobs for a living, comma, doesn't he? I am smart. Yes, we looked yesterday into that. Yes, in the previous lecture. I am smart. Yes, am I not? Right? But how are you going to write am I not? Ain't I? So, ain't I a student? Yes. The same ain't I is going to be used over here. Am not becomes amn't. No, that is the abbreviated form for amount, right? So amn't will become, am not will become ain't. So I am a student, comma, ain't I. Students, to note over here is there can be two answers for I am a student, because we know the plural form, that is I ka first person ka plural form we, right? So we are students, right? Aren't we? Now aren't, are or are not can be used with I also in rare case. So I am a student can also be aren't I a student, but usually we use ain't where we are using the singular, but that is also true. So don't get baffled up when if the option doesn't have ain't I, it has aren't I. That can also work. Rare cases it can work, right? So I am a student, ain't I, aren't I, right? That also can work over here. Yes, I am not a student, am I? Are I nahi aayega. In negation aren't I can work, but in affirmative are I cannot be used, right? So grammar a little bit fuzzy thing, right? He was not at home, right? Helping verb is there, was, negation is there, not, so we have to remove the negation and use the same helping verb, was he, right? So was he at home, that is the interrogative, and he was not at home. We write the complete sentence followed by comma, then followed by the helping verb, negation we remove, and we simply write the subject. So was he. They will not dare to come here. Now will is working as the helping verb over here, though it's a model. Negation is already there. Now there is another model that remains as it is because it's working as a model over here. Dare is a model. Need, dare, ought to, these are all models, right? Can, could, may, might, all these are models. Same way dare is also a model, but here it is working as a model, whereas will, would, right? Here it is not working as a model, here it's working as a helping verb, right? Past future tense, right? Same way we say as, was, will, right? So will is working as a helping verb over here. We'll have to keep it as it is. Negation is there, we got to remove it, and the subject is already there, they. So answer is going to be interrogative. Will they dare to come here? That is the interrogative, and they will not dare to come over here. Complete sentence written as it is followed by comma. Remove negation if there is, negation is there, so I'll just keep the helping verb will followed by subject. It will be they, right? Not he. Will they. Some of the exercise part, he climbs the tree. Now no helping verb is there, that means we have to use the do form. Right, now climbs, it is present tense. So what is the present tense of do form? Does. So negation is not there, we have to use the negation. He climbs the tree. Doesn't he climb the tree? Here it will not be climbs, it will be climb. That s that we use in present tense for verb climbs, that s will be removed from climb and will be add to the do form, that the do form becomes does. So he climbs the tree. Doesn't he? That doesn't he, the same thing is to be added as question tag. Right, he climbs the tree. Doesn't he? Mariko jumped up. Here also we see that the question tag, here also we see that there is no helping verb. Directly the verb is there. Mariko jumped up, but the verb is in past tense. That means Mariko did jump up, right? So the form of do that is used in this sentence is did, past tense of do form. So the question interrogative that we formed is, didn't Mariko? Did, that is a past tense used over here. Negation is not there, so I included negative and combined both the words to make an abbreviated form, didn't. Keep the subject after that. The same thing we are going to use in the question tag. I'll write the sentence as it is. Mariko jumped up, followed by comma, didn't he? June went deaf. Now we have already seen that June did go deaf, right? Because went ka present tense, go is the present tense, went is the past tense, and gone is the past participle, right? So be careful over here, such sentences where the words completely change when they are made to past tense or past participle, right? The words completely change. You got to know these words and make the changes accordingly. June went deaf. Hasn't. Yes. Now June did go deaf. Now did go deaf, that means that part is already over. That is why we are asking for the sake of confirmation. So hasn't, it will not be didn't go June go deaf, right? That if we write that, the meaning of the sentence will change, because that will be momentarily. Yes, sometimes there is a blast nearby and all of a sudden you lose your hearing for a few seconds, hardly fraction of seconds. That is the meaning. Didn't go June go deaf if you are using it. Now hasn't means that the complete sense has gone permanently, right? Hasn't June gone deaf? The same thing we are going to use. June went deaf. Hasn't she? I hear you. Yes. What is the I do hear you? Yes. So do not I hear you, because this is in the actual form. The verb is in the actual form, right? The base form. So we'll use the base form of do, that is do. So do not I hear you. The same thing we'll be adding as question tags. I hear you, comma, do not I are abbreviated don't I. I laugh at the joke, right? No helping verb is provided. Yes, I do laugh at the joke. So do not I, don't I. The same thing will be added at the end of the sentence. Yes, I laugh at the joke. I keep the sentence as it is, followed by comma, followed by the do form, negation. I combine that, don't I, and then put a question mark. So don't I is the question tag that I have added. I laughed at the joke, right? Here I laugh at the joke, here I laughed at the joke. The difference is the sentence is in past tense, because laughed is past tense, right? So what is the past for no helping verb is there, so I have to use the form of do, and that also past tense. So I did laugh at the joke. The ed over here will get replaced with that will be cut, and it will be added to the do form. So I did laugh at the joke, didn't I, right? Because no negation is used over here. So didn't I, same thing will be added as question tag. I laughed at the joke, comma, didn't I. So we see, students, that this is quite an interesting topic. Plus we have already done the interrogative, so it becomes very easy for us. Yes, and even in the exams, just try to do the interrogative so that you are very sure what the question tag is going to be, right? To affirm yourself, to confirm yourself what the interrogative is going to be, let us focus on the interrogative first and then the question tag. Then if you make the interrogative, you will automatically come to know what is going to be the question tag for that sentence. So with this, we have completed yet another topic, that is the third topic today, assertive to question tag. So we have completed 3 topics till now. First one is assertive to exclamatory and exclamatory to assertive, vice versa, right? That is one topic combined. Then we learned about assertive to interrogative, and today we learned about assertive to question tag.
So students, we had been learning the topic of one of the topic of transformation of sentences, that is question tags till now. Now we are going to learn another topic in this same lecture. Continued with transformation of sentences, now we are going to learn another topic in transformation of sentences, that is remove to, TW2. Instead of to, we have to insert or we have to use so that. Now when we remove to, it's a very simple rule that when we are removing to, now if we remove to from the sentence, then by removing to, we make a void in the sentence, and the sentence, the meaning changes completely. Yes, if we take out the to and do not insert anything else instead of to. So when we remove to, we use so that. Now comes rule number 1, that if the sentence has to and it is positive, that means there is no negative word in it, then when we remove to and when we insert so that, then we have to add negation to it, right? Negation has to be used along with so that. Vice versa, if the sentence has to and it also has negation, then when we use so that, then the negation will be removed. That means the sentence will become positive. Yes? So one simple rule is that when we remove to and if the sentence is positive, that means it has no negative word. Then when we remove to and when we insert so that, then we have to use negation along with so that. Vice versa, opposite, if the sentence is having to and it is also having negation, when we remove to and insert so that, the sentence made will be affirmative or there will be no negative word in it. Now math is too complicated to understand. We have to remove to. Now what happens if we remove to completely? Math is complicated to understand. A very simple version. Math is too complicated that allows us to understand the degree of difficulty that we face in understanding math. Yes? So to is very essential over here in this sentence because it tells us about how much difficulty do we face in understanding math. Yes? Otherwise we just face difficulty. But when we use to, we tell the person how much difficulty we face in understanding math. So when we are removing to, now this sentence has to but no negation. That means rule number 1 applies, that if when we remove to and there is no negation, then when we insert so that, then negation will be used. Math is so complicated that, now math is too complicated to understand, or math is too complicated for me to understand, that is, or for us to understand. So that for us becomes I or we. So math is so. Now from where we have removed to, that same place we have to add so, followed by the object, that is complicated. After that we will add that. Math is so complicated that I or we cannot understand it. Now Math is so complicated that I or we cannot understand it. Now, if we see here, can is not there. But the meaning over here is I cannot understand math, or it becomes very complicated for me. So math is complicated that I can not understand it. So math is so complicated that I or we cannot understand it. Raman is too poor to buy new books. He is poor, but he is so poor that he cannot buy books, because the sentence we have to remove to plus. Negation is not used, so when we use so that, negation has to be used. Again, Raman is too poor. Raman is so poor that we have again to write the pronoun for Raman. He cannot buy books, because we see that why do we extend the number of words? Why do we add number of words? Why do we use cannot, could not, all those things? Because we see that apart from Raman is so poor, here we cannot add negation. Negation has to be inserted after that. To buy new books. He is so poor. Raman is too poor that Raman cannot buy new books. That is the meaning over here. So the same thing we are writing over here. Please do not get confused why or where do we get these extra words. Raman is too poor that Raman cannot buy new books. So the same thing when we do the transformation, Raman is too poor. Raman is so poor that I use that over here, same way that I use Raman. I am again using the proper noun. Instead of proper noun, I can use pronoun. So he, that Raman cannot buy new books, that he cannot buy new books. We were so anxious that we did not wait for lunch. Now here opposite is to be done, so, and that is given to us, and we have to use to. So we have to remove so that, and we have to insert to. Vice versa, it can work both the way. Either to is given, we remove to and insert so that, or so that is given, we use to instead of so that. So anxious that. Now, so that is there and negation is also there. So when we remove so that, we also have to remove negation where? When we transform it into using to. Now, we were so anxious that we did not wait for lunch. We were too anxious. Instead of so, it will be that. We were too anxious. When we remove that, then we also will get removed, this one also and this one also. All this will be removed. Right? So we were too anxious. Now what will we replace instead of that? We will replace just one word, too. We were too anxious to wait for lunch. We were too anxious to wait for lunch. Now, if I want to change it to here, to is there, negation is not there. We have to insert negation. And so anxious that. We were so anxious that we did not wait for lunch. The same thing is over there, right? We did not wait for lunch. So nothing is coming out of blue. Yes, this is not something magic happening. Everything is given to you. Yes, we just have to use your head so that we do not make any wrong transformation of sentences. Please consider this, students. When we do the transformation of sentence, we should not change the meaning of the sentence. He was so lazy that he does not read regularly. So we have so, that, and we have negation. The same thing that we did in the earlier sentence. If I want to remove so that, I have to remove negation also, and then I'll insert to. Where will I insert to? I'll insert to instead of so. when I remove, because that is to be removed, that is removed, he does not, whole of these thing gets removed. He is too lazy to, what will be replaced by these 4 words? To will be replaced by, instead of these 4 words. So he is too lazy to read regularly. Alternately, when this is given and we have to choose the correct, so that sentence, so he is so lazy that he does not read regularly. Now we have double negation, which is a tad bit difficult. Yes, if you do not understand the sentence properly, then you may end up doing wrong transformation. So here it is quite important for us to understand what is being said. Double negation. Double negation, he is too intelligent to ignore it. Now, in the earlier sentence, we know what did we do for to. Let us see what we did. We replaced to, right? In that, what did we remove? That he does not. Whole of this thing we removed. So when we are removing to from there, then that means it has negation. It has negation. Instead of that negation, we replaced to. Now, what will happen for this? He is too intelligent to ignore it. That means he is so intelligent that he will not ignore it. He is to gets replaced by so. Intelligent remains as it is, because so is that. After intelligent, that will be used. Again, we are removing to. When we are removing to, again we use that pronoun. He cannot ignore it, right? So nothing comes out of the blue. There is no magic happening. The same thing is again done over there. That he cannot is, we are replacing to with that he cannot, right? Now he is too intelligent not to ignore it. No, we already did this. He is, suppose not is not. So he is too, that means so intelligent, he cannot ignore it. Yes, now I have not. That means from here he is so intelligent that he cannot not ignore it. So cannot and not, the two negations. We learned earlier, two negatives make a positive. So we make a positive over here by removing this not and this not. By removing not and not over here. Now what's going to happen? He was so intelligent that he can ignore it. If you are intelligent, can you ignore? No. When we are removing two negation, we have to make opposite. That is, antonym of ignore is notice. So he is so intelligent that he will notice it. He will notice it. This we have already done previous year, and we have written that in the fair book as well. So you are well aware of it. Only thing is a little bit brush up so that you again recall what was taught last year, and we can go ahead and practice a lot. Now for understanding purpose, the rock is too hard to break. That means the rock is unbreakable. We have done these things earlier. The rock is too hard. That means the rock is so hard that it cannot be broken. right? That is exactly the meaning. The rock is too hard to break means the rock is so hard that it cannot be broken. That means still the rock remains unbroken. That means we did not change the meaning even when we transformed or we removed to and inserted so that. Yes, to is there, negation is not there. So that is there, negation is there. Simple. We just follow the rule. That is only one rule and we are going to follow it. Opposite, the rock is too hard not to break. What is going to be the answer? The rock is so hard that it cannot not be broken. That means it is breakable. It is breakable, cannot not be broken. There it was necessary because ignore was that. That is why we turned it into notice. But here we are talking about two things only, breakable or unbreakable. Yes, by the rock is too hard. To break, that means it is breakable. Not to break, that means it is breakable. The rock is so soft. Now, break ka ho gaya? Antonym, right? Because hard ka हमने soft कर दिया. The rock is so soft that it will break. Because we have not broken it, so it will break, right? So we removed two, we inserted so that there was a negation, we removed that, there is no negation over here. Yes, and we turn antonym of hard into soft. It goes in the same way. The problem was too hard or too difficult to solve. The problem was too difficult to solve. The problem was so difficult that it cannot be solved. Or it could not be solved, simply. It can be solved by somebody. It could not be solved by you. So the problem was so difficult that it could not be solved. The same sentence. The problem was not too difficult to solve. That means, now, not too difficult to solve. That means too is there with a negation. That means when we remove too, we also have to remove the negation. When we are applying, that means we will have to make an antonym. Let us see. Yes, the problem was too is removed so that. Negation is there, we remove the negation, but in order to keep the sentence, the meaning intact, we make the antonym of easy, difficult, that is easy. The problem was so easy that it could be solved. We removed the negation, there is no negation over here, but we use the antonym so that meaning of the sentence does not change. The food was too spicy to eat. The food was so spicy that we could not eat it. That we have already seen it, right? Because two is there. What? Now, this two is going to be replaced. What about this two? Right? That means we have to add we could not. That much we have to add. Opposite, the food was so spicy that we could not eat it. Into two, the food was too spicy. Instead of we could not, and that we'll write to eat. Again, opposite of that, the food was not too spicy to eat. That means it was delicious. Because spicy or tasty, delicious, whatever, right, was not too. So when we use so that, we have to remove to, and negation is there, that also we have to remove. But when we remove the negation, that the food was so spicy that, then we'll have to add, we cannot not it. So we remove cannot and not. And that means we have to make the opposite of spicy, right? So the food was so tasty. This is spicy, that is worrying. Now it is tasty. That means all the masalas, etc., they're quite normal. So you can eat it, and because it tastes good. The food was so tasty that we ate it. Again, he is too smart, but too is over here. So when I use so that, I'll have to extend it. That he could not be fooled or something like that. He is too smart. No negation is there. So that means when I use so that, I'll use negation. He is. I remove to, and it is so smart that. Again, I'll have to use pronoun. He cannot be fooled because negation is not there. I have to add negation over there. Another way of writing it is we make the opposite of it. Then I can use negation. Yes, here I am using negation afterwards. Here I can use negation before. So he is not, then not so smart will make it opposite. So I will make antonym of smart, that is dumb. He is not so dumb that he can be fooled. Again, we have double negation over here. How? Double negation will make some confusion. Otherwise, so that and two, it's quite easy. Yes, the food was not too spicy to eat. That means when we remove two, we have also to remove negation. So I remove two, was so. Spicy becomes tasty, that we ate it. He is too smart to be fooled. He is so smart that he cannot be fooled. He is not, or the same sentence you can write by making the antonym of smart. That is, he is not so dumb that he cannot be fooled. He is too smart not to be fooled. 2, 3 things over here to remember. 2 is to be removed. But then we also have 2, and then we have negation also. So that has to be removed also, because 2 is used with negation. Now if negation was not there, he is too smart to be fooled. That means he is so smart that he cannot be fooled. Now he cannot not be fooled. That means I have to cut not, that is 2 negatives, and make the opposite of smart. Same thing. I can use it afterwards. He cannot, or I can. Now I am having 2 nots over here. That neutralizes the effect of negation. 2 negation will make positive. He is not so smart that he cannot be fooled, or he is not so dumb that he can be fooled. Same number. Because now here 2 negations are there. I don't want to use this negation. Then I will have to make the opposite of smart. That is antonym. So in either way, there should be 2 negatives so that it equalizes or it neutralizes the effect of negation, and we have the required answer. He is too smart not to be fooled. He is not so smart that he cannot be fooled. In another way, you can also write, he is not so dumb that he can be fooled. Yes, I either add a negation over here, or I remove that negation and add the antonym of that. The overall effect of the sentence, the overall meaning of the sentence does not change. Now, a little bit more understanding, because double negation is a bit difficult. Yes, so let's concentrate what it means to say. If you are clear with that, then you will always have the correct answer. If you are not clear what the sentence wants to say, because you got confused, to is used somewhere, not is used, not is somewhere not used, then also the meaning is wrong, right? So that way, please understand the question. What does the question want to say? The rock is hard to break. That means the rock is hard to break. That means it is not breakable. It's very hard and it's not breakable, right? So the rock is hard to break, not breakable. Again, if I say rock is too hard to break, I am just increasing the degree of its hardness. Otherwise, it is still not breakable. So, meaning of these 2 sentences, they are same. The rock cannot be broken. Yes, only thing is, if we add 2, that just extends the degree of hardness. Now, if I write in this way, The rock is so hard that it cannot be broken. Still, the meaning of all the three sentences is the same, because the rock is so hard that it cannot be broken. It still remains unbroken. The rock is not so soft. Instead of so hard, I write not so soft. Not so soft is hard. That means the rock is hard that it cannot be broken. Yes? If I'm removing soft, then I'll have to use hard. So the rock is so hard that it cannot be broken. Or if I use that, the rock is not so soft that it can be broken. The meaning of all these four sentences is the same. That means the rock is still there, we are also still there, and the rock cannot be broken. Another way, the rock is not too hard to break, that means it is breakable. Not too hard, that means it is soft. Not too hard means soft. So the rock is soft, so it can be broken. That means the meaning is breakable. The rock is not so hard that it cannot be broken. Yes? I remove negation, then I'll have to make it soft. Get my point? The rock is not so hard that it can be broken. Now, it won't work. The rock is so soft that it can be broken. Yes, because if I put hard over here, I will have to use not. Because two negations will be positive. That means the effect is neutralized. The rock is so hard that it cannot be broken. Right? So, meaning remains the same. If I want this to have, but I do not want this, then I have to make this soft. If I don't want to use soft, then I'll have to use hard and double negation to equalize it. Yes, not so hard means soft. That means the rock is so soft that it can be broken, because I removed not so. Right? And antonym. So there also negation will be removed. The rock is so soft that it can be broken. The meaning of these two sentences is the same, breakable. This one is clear. The rock is so soft that it can be broken. The same sentence. It's written in different way, but meaning is the same. Here, not so hard. Here, so soft. Baat wahi hai. Not so hard means soft. Soft means is not so hard. So, meaning of these three sentences remain the same. Somewhere to is used with negation, somewhere so that is used with negation, somewhere so that is used with double negation, antonym is used. Yes, this is all to confuse you how to look at a sentence and how to know what is being said in the sentence, so that you can pick out the correct transformation of sentences. This is the third sentence. The rock is too hard not to break. It is breakable. How? The rock is too hard not to break. Now, the rock is too hard to break means unbreakable. But not to break, that means it is breakable. Yes? So, the rock is so hard that it cannot not be broken. Yes? Or the rock is so soft that overall meaning is still it is breakable. Or the rock is so hard that it cannot not be broken. If I do that, right? So I have already done that. You remove these two not. The rock is so hard that it can be broken. Now if it is hard, it cannot be. So we have to do the antonym over here. So this becomes soft. The rock is so soft that it can be broken. Then only we can remove those two negations over there, right? To equalize it, we got to make an antonym so that meaning does not change. The rock is so soft that it can be broken. because I removed two negation, that it can be broken. But then hard gives us opposite meaning. So we have to make the antonym of hard, that is soft. The rock is so soft that it can be broken. So all these four sentences, the meaning is same, that is that the rock is breakable. That means it is soft. So only thing is to see how it works. Okay. With this we complete today's lecture. Thank you, students.